Hey everyone, Alex here from Computer Headquarters, and this will probably be my last POE video of this league. POE 2 comes out tomorrow, and I'll probably be playing that. I hope you guys are getting in on the early access. I'm joined here with my buddy David, who I talk about in a lot of my videos because he's a veteran, and I want to show you guys his build. I think it's really special, it's pretty unique, and it's insanely fast. It is maybe the fastest Path of Exile character of all time. We've also checked POE Ninja, and it doesn't look like anyone else is playing this build or has ever played it. And we're going to start off with a demonstration. So David's going to show you his map he's going to run and the scarabs and stuff like that. So we have a 8 mod beach map, and it's juiced up pretty big. It's a T16 of course, and he's got Scarab of Hunted Traders, he's got a Scarab of Evasion, he has a Scarab of Monstrous Lineage, Scarab of Cartography, Scarab of Multitude, and a Scarab of Adversaries. He's gonna, I think, also throw Domination on the map device, and he's gonna witness it. Real quick, what he does with this build is he farms currency insanely fast. So it's not like an uber boss or anything like that. It's just a blast, like the ultimate blaster build, I would say. And so what a lot of the things he farms with this is Maven's Chisels. He farms Orbs of Conflict from the Maven invitations, and a lot of Scarabs and other things are just dropping on the ground. And the way he normally plays it is actually with Twist of Fate. He'll just throw like, you know, a rinky-dink map in that he rolled that wasn't even the best roll, and then just hits go on a Twist of Fate, and a lot of times he ends up with really juiced maps. And this build can basically handle any T16 map there is out there, even 11 mod. So he doesn't even have to read anything. He can just click and go, blast, you know, just start blasting. So that's what he does. So let's go ahead and blast this map and show him your fastness. Taking too long here. Slow. You're slow. Drag race. Alright. So let's have David's gonna help explain a little bit about what you just saw. So let's start with the gear, I suppose. And David's gonna have to explain how he's going so fast and just blowing up the entire screen everywhere. Go ahead, David.
Well, it starts off with Lightning Warp. We want to reduce the duration of Lightning Warp to 0, because it actually can go down to 0 delay, so that you like no delay. Kind of just gotta cast it. But so the way that I do that is through the gem itself. It's got 51 reduced duration, that bottom line there. Another 20% here, as well as
Time clasp
on my ring there with time clasp. And you get another 15% with window of opportunity. And then the last little bit is from the other ring. This new the rings that you get from the Reflecting Mist. That implicit there, reduced skill effect duration was on your left ring slot.
Yep.
So all of that is pushing it to, it's probably like 101%. you only need 100% reduced duration, and reduced duration is like additive, so they'll add up to 100%, 101% reduced duration, making it 0. If I were to take off, like, say, the ring,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and I can cast a couple times before even the first one finishes. So even just this 15 or like 14 is so much. So then that's how the movement is so fast.
Okay.
And then you get damage by making Lightning Warp go up to a certain cast mana cost. So I'm getting it to, you gotta get it over 100. What I'm doing that is getting Archmage on it without Archmage supported. It's 11. Putting Archmage on puts it to over 100, which now my helm is what people use for Frost Nova, Frostbolt, Ice Nova, all that build is super popular. Similar idea now, I'm proccing stuff on my helm, but instead of like support stuff, it's all damage stuff. So 21, 20, Crackling Lance, laser bolt shooting off, the upper level, I have Voltaxic Burst. This is an important one. Actually, it's what lets me do the explodes. It's got, basically, if I hit an enemy with it and they die, they'll explode for their max life. And then Purifying Flames just does damage, and it's nice.
That's great round.
Well,
Oh yeah.
so it's actually pretty big damage. So part of what I was doing was like, what's going to have the most effectiveness of added damage? And these are actually, Crackling Lance is 300. That's pretty high. Purifying Flames also 300. And I can ignore the cast time because it's just proccing. And then Voltaxic Burst isn't the greatest, but it's got the explode, which helps speed things up. So that's the idea. You lower your Lightning Warp, toss up, and then put in your helm damage stuff, and now you can explode around. You're actually casting 3 different spells every 0.1 seconds.
So all your damage is coming just from lightning warping. You're not actually having to cast anything, right?
Until like by cast, and then I'll Stormfall. So Stormfall is so yeah, Stormfall is going to be my main DPS. But as I'm casting Stormfall, I'm also doing all the stuff in my helm too. So kind of getting multiple things happening.
Okay.
So you're six linking without the Stormfall. With the helm.
Oh, so Stormfall is your main DPS.
Yeah, if there's a boss, I'll try to overlaps.
But all the weak mobs that you're blasting by are mostly dying.
Explode on this. Just trying to. The goal is to not try to stop and have the explodes and all these extra damage things. Just kill everything on the way.
Okay, so if you're blasting through and then you see, let's just say you saw a rare that didn't die immediately, then you're gonna actually right click.
You could stop and go. Maybe just like 2 or 3 clicks. Rare should die too.
Do you happen to know a general idea of what your DPS is? Have you looked at POB?
It's like if everything's up and I'm hitting with everything, it's like 30 million.
Nice.
But
okay.
if I'm just zipping around, it's like everything in this area is 10 million DPS about, and then explode. Explode from Toxic Burst and this. It's, all my goal is just go whites and rares and twos. 10 million.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. And I think we should mention this before I forget later. So we just mentioned that David's doing probably around 30 million damage. We'll have a POB in the description. But he's also pretty tanky because he has 90 max all res. And let's see here, you have fairly high chaos resistance, and then you also have a big health pool. You have 6,000 ES with about 2,500 life, and on top of that, you're getting, what is it, Mind Over Matter?
Yeah, so you get oh.
He's like, oh, I didn't know it clicked on.
I respec recently, and I was like, where did my last point need to go? Okay, well, fine.
Usually he has.
Surprise.
Yeah, Mind Over Matter. Okay, so also, what is Mind Over Matter, like 40% of mana or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. And you have about 6k mana, so you have another couple thousand health coming from mana. So you have a pretty big pool, and you have a lot of defense. You have four endurance charges, I think you told me.
Yep, 4 endurance charges.
Yeah, so you're pretty tanky for considering that you're, typically this would be more of a glass cannon build. It's actually pretty tanky, and as we mentioned earlier, you can do any T16 map there is, basically. And you can even outrun Delirium, which I guess we're talking about that off camera, but they changed Delirium this league so that it's way faster and you're not supposed to be able to outrun it, but David can actually outrun Delirium with this character. But sorry, I kind of sidetracked you from talking about the gear. If you want to go back and finish up some of the gear stuff.
Yeah, the main important pieces are the lightning warp, the helm, proccing stuff, and then getting the appropriate amount of reduced duration. And then maybe like the next most important thing is this chance to recover mana when you use a skill mod. You can get it a couple different places. I got it on the amulet here. I get it on the Watcher's Eye, which I gotta track down here. Watcher's Eye's got another 15, and the masteries for mana. That second to last one is chance to recover mana when you use a skill. So since I'm using 3 skills in my helm, and supporting them with Archmage, I'm using Lightning Warp, and I'm actually got a couple things proccing out of my my wand here. I'm actually casting a lot of spells in a second, so without having this recover mana when you use a skill, maybe even getting rid of just these 2, which are actually quite a bit of mana.
Oh wow!
Can't sustain your mana. Can't sustain your mana. But before I had some of those tools, you can get mana on kill, and if you're just cruising, going super fast, this is enough to just, if you're going really fast. But then on bosses, yeah, your mana might you might run out for if you're fighting a boss for a little bit, which is casting.
Yeah.
But this 2% mana on kill you can here or here. If you're just speed blasting, you can. That's enough. But I kind of didn't want to just have that because it's also just good defensive layer, because your mana, when you have Mind Over Matter, your mana is your life, but then also lets you slow stuff down. If I don't have mana to cast stuff in my helm, now I'm not killing stuff. So yeah, having that is like the next most important piece, I'd say, to make this build operate.
Yeah. Were you using Mage Blood? Were you using this build before Mage Blood, or did you build after Mage Blood?
Yeah. So the Mage Blood is just amps everything up, just loosens, all of the stuff that you need. It loosens how much resists you need, how much max res you need, and get a bunch of crit or whatever. So yeah, I was using just a Stygian Vice, some other belt, and that has, you just have less crit, you have less resist, but then on the belt you have some resist, so it works alright without Mage Blood, but obviously Mage Blood's the way to go.
Yeah, and your wand on your left hand right there has the crazy expensive, this one, Tormented Spirits. I know that was expensive, and I think you told me you opted not to do it on both wands first, but was it not just because of cost, but because of
yeah, I actually want to make it a little bit better of a wand, and I never got around to it. But one of the big pieces of Tormented Spirit is it gives move speed. It's a really nice quality of life thing, but like I am not really actually I don't even have it on my boots. I think if I were to get like other Tormented Spirits on the wand and then just get rid of some of this armor ES on my boots, it's really not giving me that much ES and armor, just getting movement speed there, and on that would actually, I'd feel like you'd feel like you're moving pretty fast, but again, like lightning works so fast. It's faster than, even if it's going a step, it's faster than going a step. So
yeah,
I kind of don't even left click. It's like even my face will warp around all that stuff.
Got it. I think we showed most of the gear. skill gems, I know we've already showed a lot of the skill gems as well. Let's see. I don't know if we looked at the skill gems in your wands though. Punishment.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have a couple of curses going too, right?
Yeah, so having this temple mod that says you can get this through the temple, or I think you can craft it as well. Just trigger socket spell every 4 seconds. It's just more trigger stuff. I don't want to stop and cast anything. So this is going to proc punishment, assassin's mark, and sigil of power. So that's why power just going stuff. So that's just another.
I didn't know that was sigil of power because it was so big, because your AoE is so big. I actually did not know that was sigil of power. So I use sigil of power every day, and it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
It's so much smaller.
A lot of AoE.
Okay. What about your other wand?
And then this has got Arcane Cloak, which is pretty important for mana stacking builds, just a bunch of damage and pretty good defense. The only problem with it is I have a bunch of all this reduced duration.
Oh.
It kind of messes up this. It feels a little bad.
So it's almost like an immortal call skill coming and going so quick.
It's like you can only get up like 6 or 7 hits. I don't know. I can get real fast,
Yeah.
really long. But it's barely a couple seconds, 2.5 seconds or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so then we can. It's still good. Just cast all the time.
And you got your auras and your boots here.
Yeah, we got clarity and arrogance just to reserve what is it, like 60 health there to get clarity to satisfy Watcher's Eye.
Okay.
We've got Eternal Blessing with Zealotry, so Eternal Blessing lets you reserve your mana without reserving your mana if you're only using one aura. Zealotry is just some damage that's crit. Lightning Warp is on here. I think another extra stuff is if you do Enhance. So the difference is some people might want to use Frostplank and Wintry Blast. It is just slower. The base cast time is slower, and Lightning Warp actually gets cast speed from the quality, so it's just extra cast speed that you can gain from it, as well as the base cast speed. So that's why if I were to put Frostplank, Wintry Blast in here, it would be half as fast, if not slower.
Okay.
Then, yeah, 6 Link has got Stormcall with normal stuff, Archmage, AoE, crit, less duration, spell cascade, and that's.
What are you taking for?
it.
Sorry for interrupting you. My bad. What are you taking for your Pantheon?
Reduce crit, reduce reflect,
Okay.
and then anti-stun, Brian King.
Okay. And then I know we kind of looked at your tree a couple of times, but let's look at all especially your jewels in your tree. Wow, yeah, you have a lot of stuff going on here. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just reduce mana cost, Militant Faith, so I've got a lot of points that's going to reduce mana cost. If your mana cost is too high, you just can't do the build. So in addition to the thing I was talking about earlier, you've got to get mana cost. So this is one spot where you can get mana cost, and it's really not doing anything else besides the devotion for ally resistant mana cost. Getting, I think, like 140 devotion or something from all this.
Okay.
And then getting inner conviction, which is a lot of spell damage because I got 8 power charges. And then just mana stuff, ES stuff, lightning.
You only have 8 power charges?
Yeah,
I have 13 on my build. I don't know if you know that. 13 is 5 more.
Good.
I'm faster than you too.
So this one's pretty. I like this point. It's a shock effect for your max mana, and you have so much max mana on your tree. This actually gives a lot of shock effect. I noticed my shock going up like 20 or 30%.
Damn.
On harder mobs getting this, so you might go from like 15 on hard mobs to like 30 or 35 or stuff like that. So that's a pretty good mod.
Yeah.
I've got a cluster duel with Leech, getting Leech here, this Watcher's Eye. So I'm only using Zealotry and Clarity, so I just found this one's pretty good. It's just damage and ES stuff, mana stuff, what you would expect. There's some other decent ones, but I think the most important one might be, for this build, just making it work, is that recover mana when you use a skill. And you can usually find one other one with that for pretty cheap, because no one really likes that mod.
Yeah. What was the other jewel that was in that cluster?
I've got a lot of jewels like this since I'm using melding of the flesh. And this league they added the max lightning res. Maybe this league, last league, recently added you can get max res on the suffix. So
yep,
it's melding the flesh in conjunction with this mod. It's real easy to get max res, and then each of my jewels is going to have mana, that lightning res, max lightning res, and then just something crit stats or cast speed. Got just a couple jewels like that, some idea. Okay. Multi mana, just stats. Melding flesh, another same idea, mana, multi stats. I need an impossible escape to get this window of opportunity. There's probably a couple ways you can do it. You can just anoint it and then do different stuff, but this is just some version that I'm trying out, that I've ended up with, I guess is a better way to say it. And yeah, this is pretty important.
Yep.
And then over here is just a cluster jewel that's got damagey kind of stuff. Okay. Mana, damage stuff, and then these medium clusters are just for AoE. I did these kind of recently. Fast power is a lot of AoE and some damage, some AoE and some damage. Same idea, same one over here. So getting an extra 50, because I was trying to see if I can get the AoE pushing it a little bit, helps my dark seed, helps the overlap of getting them tighter. All 5 means you get a little more damage from bosses, and then AoE's but good for clear, so I opted to get this AoE stuff here.
Okay. I'm sorry, there are 2 more jewels that were in your medium cluster jewels there?
Yeah, so more of these guys.
Okay, same idea?
Yeah, same idea.
Okay.
Mana, multi-resist, and something else. I probably can get better ones, but these are still pretty solid.
Couple tattoos, maybe? I think I see 1 tattoo so far.
Yeah, so this one is actually kind of important. Killing blows gives max life. This just helps you keep your max life full. So when you're just killing tons of mobs, you might take you might take a bit of chaos damage. This build is going to take chaos damage directly to my life. I don't have that much life, so this kind of, if I take a little poison or whatever, this is going to keep that going in addition to the leech that I have over here. Although I did get this, so maybe Ghost Reaper says you don't leech life anymore, essentially, but it does give you more ES leech. So this is one thing I wasn't sure what's better, to have more ES leech and no life leech. Just something I was trying out.
Okay. And then you had a tattoo on the left side, kind of left middle.
Oh yeah, this guy's just
hinder. Okay.
I'm hitting so much that I was like, well, maybe I'll just get one tiny bit of hinder. It might slow mobs down if that really matters. 10 int is, figured this is probably better than 10 int, even though I might never notice it because everything's just dying.
Yep. Looks good. Sick build, dude. I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything. Is there anything else you think we didn't mention that you want to add?
No, looks good.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys.